All right, for those who are just joining us, welcome to the Startup Classic, our first pitch fest at See Change Sessions. We're joined here by Melissa Dolan from Emil Capital Partners and Kim Baker from Accelerator, and gearing up to hear a pitch from Dave at Epic Media - Momentum.
Excellent. Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Kim. And thank you, See Change Sessions and the Startup Classic for providing this opportunity to our people in our organization and the countless others that are participating and being given the chance to speak, listen, learn about sustainability. It's really important for us all, and we appreciate what you're doing. As fellow agents of sustainability, this conference and startup event holds a special place for us. The next 4 minutes, we'll provide a brief overview of our company, Epic Media, and our first published property, Momentum. We have a 2-minute pitch that we'll run through and give you an overview of what we're doing at Epic Media and Momentum. Epic Media is an innovative publishing company that launched to build and grow content-driven communities across the areas of sustainability, energy, and food. As founder, I have a proven track record of startup success building high-growth digital businesses as Google's inaugural partner and later as an executive at Dealer.com. I am anchored by a founding leadership team of 3 community and content experts with backgrounds at Hearst, MTV, and more. Our team's expertise is anchored in 4 key areas: scaling revenue growth, monetizing digital media, building data-centric businesses, and curating communities online. Each of these will be built into our publisher products and enable us to achieve key milestones faster and with more confidence. Your collaboration and financial investment will be utilized efficiently. Our strategic plan is to focus on delivering momentum first, with a prioritization on time to market and revenue impact, with later stage rollouts of Energy Studio and Food.ai delivering the larger capitalization potential. Why back a publisher today? The consumer view is that the average American spends 470 minutes per day with digital media. The business view is that 92% of leading marketers believe using first-party data to continuously build an understanding of what people want is critical to growth. The growth drivers. Our focus for Momentum is to build a community with U.S. marketers to begin and then grow globally. Our market is 824,000 marketing roles in the U.S. alone, and 95 Fortune 500s having a chief sustainability officer. This leads us to achievable assumptions of reaching nearly 15,000 members in our first 3 years, which is 2% of the target market. This leads to an average revenue per user of $31 per month, yielding $4 million in revenue by the end of year 3. Welcome to Momentum.Blue. We are a membership community for marketers committed to creating a new paradigm for communications around sustainability. Our collection of sustainability-focused content includes featured articles, sustainability reports, online events, podcasts, listings and directories, and how-tos. Membership plans start at $20 per month with upsell opportunities for curated events, enhanced content, and unique experiences. Our revenue model is simple: content to community. Content is our foundation, our differentiator, and our primary area of expertise. At the time of launch, our collection will be fortified with original content and set to scale steadily in volume. Excellent. Well, that was our overview. And as mentioned, Epic Media is our parent company. And we are starting with Momentum.Blue, which is a community for sustainability focused on marketing professionals, but we do look to expand into other areas of expertise as well, too, such as supply chain and other impacts within an organization. Our financial forecast is a revenue-driven model where we will focus on growth marketing to drive members to our community, as well as soliciting direct sales from businesses themselves for larger organizations to get their marketing organizations on board. We do offer subscription plans, and we're going to augment that with sponsorship as well, too, as our member growth increases, while striking a balance so sponsorship never overrides the importance of our content to our community. We're projecting a cost per acquisition of a member of $80, a projected total average revenue per user or member of $31. And most importantly, it's our impact back to the communities. We created a program 10% to 10. So we are a 1% for the planet member, but we will also be giving an additional 9% of our revenue to 9 selected nonprofits over time. Initial ones include the Rob Machado Foundation, the Surfrider Foundation, the Ecology Center, and many more. Our goal is to reach a $100,000 run rate by month 8 and continue to grow our membership base from there. Our growth framework is simple. With momentum, we start off with scalable yet slower revenue growth, and we will launch our other properties, Energy Studio and Food.ai, as we subsequently build the momentum base to start. To date, we're self-funded. We started the year as an agency serving sustainable businesses and transitioned to a publisher platform in March, and we started investing into our momentum brand, platform, and content starting in April 2021. In closing, we want to thank the panel and the audience for this opportunity. We're really excited. In Cassidy, we want to thank Hula and the entire organization for hosting this event to begin with. Our company is diligent, determined, and driven to build a profitable business while positively impacting the world around us. We want to spread the positive messages of sustainability and create a platform for brands and individuals to do the same. Mahalo to all. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Dave. If you could unshare your screen, and then I'll kick it over to Kim to get us started with some questions here.
Thank you so much for that overview. It's really encouraging to hear the positive spin on things. It's often doom and gloom when we talk about climate change and sustainability, so that's really important and lovely to hear. When we think about climate change and sustainability, we also think about equity at its core. Do you intend, and if so, how would you integrate those stories of underrepresented communities, founders, companies, solutions, kind of embedded within the sustainability story itself?
Yeah, it's a great question and an important topic, Kim. I think that's one of our drivers for this is, as we were starting as an agency helping sustainable businesses, the economics didn't support working with smaller businesses, of course, and underserved communities. And we started to see that in the media. All the brands that were getting the attention either had the financial means to be able to do so through paid, or they just had very slick PR firms that were able to get their message out. And we wanted to create a platform to basically level the playing field for all marketers out there. And our goal, even looking at research, is we want to support every business that's out there to be able to tell their story. And we started at the nucleus of marketers because we are storytellers at the core. So our hope is that as a marketing community, our stories will kind of manifest from within and then share without. And that's why we mentioned the first party data is we also do want to create an economic platform for startups in underserved communities to be able to share their messages in a cost efficient way.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Melissa, do you have any questions for Dave and Momentum?
Absolutely. Hi, Dave. Love what you're starting. I can think of a number of communities as a former brand manager, current investor that I'm a part of, that I'm willing to pay that subscription in perpetuity to be a part of them. So totally understand what you're onto. Just curious about your initial content matrix, some of the themes, the topics that you're addressing on the platform at launch.
Yeah, it's a great question. It really challenged us in the spring of where to start. And two of the key areas that we're starting with is we're developing articles to create a baseline. And the reason there is that for a lot of marketers, sustainability is still out of reach from a conceptual standpoint. So when you think about the future, we all need a baseline that we start with. So we started with pioneers of sustainability. For a lot of folks, they will not know who Yvon Chouinard is and the impact that Patagonia had to the communities around us. Some today may not see the impact that Kelly Slater and John Moore are having at Outerknown, for instance. So we really want to start with the pioneers of sustainability, and then we're starting to blend how-to articles. So how do marketers incorporate sustainability into their messaging to the point, I've done a lot of work with HP over the years to where they're running an Olympics commercial on sustainability. And their CMO and CSO, of course, are in lockstep in telling that story as a brand message. So we are also writing summaries of sustainability reports that the HPs and Petcos and other brands are putting out that are really dense, 80, 100-page PowerPoint presentations we synthesize those down into 1 to 2 pages. So as a marketer, you can start to get educated in those areas. And then podcast is our other area. So we want to start speaking and creating an open forum and community that we can bring other experts onto our podcast and be able to tell those stories as well too. So we've gone a little wide in a few different areas, but we've also found a really economic way because of all the freelance writers from around the world that are ready to tell stories as well too.
I love that you're starting just from a place of really serving the marketers on these brands that are trying to tell the story of what they're doing every day. That's great. And just to follow on to that question, how are you initially targeting and acquiring new members? What does that look like?
Yeah, we, as I told Cassidy, this kind of was at a cross section of us getting ready to launch with the Startup Classic and Hula. So we planned on incorporating See Change sessions into our messaging. It was actually one of the inspirations. We thought we were going to build a conference when we first started, and the Hula team decided to do that as well too. So we pivoted and said, let's build a community, which was really exciting. And so what we're doing is twofold. We're in a family and friends phase right now. We did launch on August 8th with our platform and our initial set of articles. So we're up and we're live, but we are not inviting proactively people in. We're trying to build our social profile and get feedback and push against it. The day after Labor Day is when we are actually going to start our paid media campaigns. And we are going to aggressively target through growth marketing. So through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Google. A lot of our backgrounds, Chad, who's on the call now as well too, came from Hearst. I came from working with Google for a number of years. So one of our skill sets is actually through acquisition of subscription programs. And we did that at dealer.com as well too. So that's the one area we feel pretty comfortable about. Our one gap that we're concerned about is raising the awareness of sustainability so marketers even understand the need that they have. We don't think the intent will truly be there yet. And that's where we do appreciate the efforts of the See Change and many other organizations that are, as you, Melissa, in the last session, you said, kind of rising tide lifts all boats. That's what we really need. And then we know as more people are interested in it, then we can acquire them into the community.
Great. Thanks, Dave. And someone in the audience did ask when you were going to launch the platform. It sounds like after Labor Day is when that will be publicly available. But what's the best way for the audience to follow along if they're interested in joining this community?
You know, they can sign up now, actually. If we were better prepared, we'd have a great promotion code. But part of the reason that we priced it at $20 is to make it accessible for all. So we want the marketer that is in college today learning about sustainability to be able to afford this. And then for the professional marketer that wants more, that's where we will create upsell opportunities in the future. But it is live. It's up there. There is content in there as well too. So momentum.blue is the domain. And you can sign up and actually go through the process now and give us all that critical feedback we need early on.
Great. Great. I'll give the audience a few more minutes here to ask some questions. If there's any others out there. Melissa and Kim, do you have any more questions for the team here? Welcome, Chad.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'll ask a question about your growth plan. It sounds like you have plenty of freelance opportunities and content to kind of engage and pull into what you're building. What does the core team look like? And as you guys grow, how do you manage quality of the freelance content that might be coming in?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kim. It's something we've debated. So we kind of divide into two sides of our organization. We have our revenue growth side that Chad leads, and then we have a brand and partnership side that Dave Valentine leads. And we try to create a strike a balance between the two so that as we get a piece of content, we look at the relevancy to the audience, but we also look at the brand quality and where that matches. So we do quite a bit of filtering right now where every single person on our team, because we're still small, reviews and approves that content. And one of our first hires we'd like to bring in is an editor-in-chief. We have been working with a woman that is just headed to Columbia Business School for her master's program. She's been in the sustainability space for 15 years now. And I would deem an expert in the content space. So she's been helping guide our brand voice and where we're headed there. But we do plan on bringing an editor-in-chief inside so that it starts to expand beyond our capabilities as marketers, developers, brand experts. We have a little bit more of a consolidated, centralized voice internally. But a big reason that we're looking to go towards that flex freelancer economy is that most publishers struggle from a business model perspective, keeping all those writers on staff. And we do think there's an abundance of writers. We have some in Stockholm, Sweden, Barcelona. So we're finding more voices, globally now to bring this in. But we are very conscious of that quality meter that we've got to bring in and keep us on point.
Yeah, and to add to that, Kim, because we're developing this rich, robust content from a quality perspective, we've also built in from a tactical execution standpoint, a single piece of article creation can actually be used and disseminated across multiple distribution points as consumers are thinking, I only want to interact through Twitter or Facebook or an Insta story, or they're a mobile only kind of user. So one piece of content can be distributed in several fit and formats depending on those users' needs. So our value to that content actually has a multiplier effect, even though we're only paying for it once through our production network.
Great. Well, thank you so much, the Momentum team. It looks like, unless anyone has any final questions here, Melissa, I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, curious about retention and customer stickiness. I mean, looking at those LTV numbers, it seems like you're banking on people sticking with the platform. So how are you going to generate that kind of loyalty? And I guess that gets into, what's your roadmap and where are you headed?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think churn's one of those things that most subscription or recurring revenue companies really underutilize the impact of what churn has. And we're fully invested into this, and then B, we're extremely passionate about our users. So they're marketers, so we all sit within the same community. Sophia Ricardo is our director of membership, and she's going to have a voice in the community. We're not going to be hidden. And we have completed everything from drip email campaigns from when you get started to multiple modes of communication to be able to reach us as well too. And I'd say one of the biggest things for us is to retain that community, because we know if we don't, from a business perspective, churn will basically bury the business. And then B, we also want a positive brand out in the marketplace as well too. So if we're starting to get feedback directionally from our membership community that content isn't relevant enough, or they're having any issues, we're going to be ferocious in our customer service model, because I've gone through quite a few churn models over the years, and it's the one thing that catches you. So from the beginning, we're really instituting a high touch, really embedded customer service mentality that we want to speak to every member that comes on board as we get going.
Sounds like you've thought of it all. Thanks for that.
Oh, there's a lot we're missing, but we'll learn along the way.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dave and Chad. Thanks for supporting See Change and Hula, and for pitching with us today. And that just wraps up the Startup Classic for today, everyone.